There are men who fight for glory, and there are men who fight for survival. Then there was Mike Tyson, a man who did both, but made it look like he was born for war. His fists were faster than doubt, his stares sharper than fear, and his rage. That was the real spectacle. Tyson was not just a boxer. He was a storm in gloves, unleashed in a ring surrounded by the foolish, the brave, and the doomed. When opponents stepped into the squared circle, thinking they could mock the baddest man on the planet, they didn't just risk defeat, they risked annihilation. At the turn of the millennium, Tyson found himself standing across from Lou Savarese, a towering dark horse of the golden era, and one of the few men who had previously demolished Buster Douglas, the same Douglas who had once handed Tyson his first professional loss. That fact alone stirred something ancient inside Mike, something cold and vengeful. Savarese wasn't just another opponent. He was a ghost Tyson had to exorcise. But Savarese, swollen with confidence, dared to mock the beast in front of him. That was all it took. Within seconds of the opening bell, Tyson exploded, the first punch detonating on Savarese's chin like a grenade. The giant hit the canvas in under 10 seconds. But Tyson wasn't finished. He refused to see mercy in that ring. He pounced again and again, forcing even the referee into survival mode. As he unleashed a torrent of fists meant to destroy, not defeat, it took Savarese's own corner to intervene. And when the smoke cleared, Mike, soaked in sweat and supremacy, gave a post-fight interview that has since echoed through the ages, a tirade not just of confidence but of prophecy. "I want to eat his children," he declared, voice trembling. With fire, praise be to Allah. For many, it was terrifying. For Tyson, it was just another Saturday, but iron sharpens iron, and danger recognizes deceit. In October 2000, Tyson faced Andrew Golota, a fighter with fists. Yes, but far more famous for his disgraceful bag of dirty tricks. Golota had turned low blows into an art form and was known not for his victories, but for his ability to turn any match into chaos. Against Tyson, however, that dark playbook collapsed. From the opening bell, Mike unleashed hell, fists smashing through Golota's guard, leaving the Polish fighter dazed, disoriented, and bleeding from his eye. Golota tried to clinch, to tangle, to frustrate Tyson with filth, but it only made things worse. Mike didn't just outbox him, he broke his will. It was so brutal, so one-sided that Golota quit after the second round. Just walked away. A professional fighter, in a primetime match, against the most dangerous man alive, and he quit. The arena erupted with boos and disbelief. Tyson, livid that the coward had denied him the full extent of vengeance, could only glare in disbelief. It wasn't enough to beat a man. Tyson wanted to make him remember. Poor Golota, that was a pain he simply didn't have the courage to endure. Another chapter of fury unfolded when Tyson returned from suspension, a dark period in his career that had included the infamous ear-biting incident. His comeback opponent, Francois Botha, a seasoned South African boxer who had the audacity to test Tyson's patience even before the bell. In a pre-fight interview, a reporter's provocation sent Tyson into a verbal explosion, reminding the world that he didn't just throw punches, he spat fire. But it was inside the ring where the beast really emerged. Botha came with a strategy that many had tried and failed to clinch, frustrate, stall, and for a few rounds, it worked. He kept Tyson tangled in arms and elbows. But Tyson was tired of the games. He tried to break Botha's arms in the clinch, once even attempting a textbook jiu-jitsu hold in a boxing match. The ref, stunned, took a point away, but the message was loud and clear. Tyson had enough doubt, and then it came. One shot, one perfect shot. Botha, seconds after looking confident and in control, collapsed as though he had been struck by a bolt of lightning. He barely beat the count, eyes searching for salvation. But there was none. Mike Tyson had returned. Not just in body, but in soul. The punishment was swift, and the lesson was eternal. Disrespect Tyson, and your night ends in blood and regret. The same fate awaited Peter McNeely, who had the misfortune or the arrogance to face Tyson after his release from prison in 1995. A brash and deluded fighter had declared to the world that he would kick Tyson's ass, even adding that fans should wear diapers if they planned to watch. That kind of talk might rattle a man. But Tyson wasn't a man. He was a force of nature. The moment the bell rang, McNeely charged. But Tyson didn't even blink. A counter, a crack, and down went the hurricane. McNeely scrambled back up, dazed but defiant. He tried again. And again. Tyson made him pay. Within seconds, the fight was effectively over. McNeely's corner, perhaps smarter than he was, threw in the towel to stop the massacre. Tyson barely looked tired. For McNeely, who believed he could scare the devil laughed and then knocked him unconscious. But all these fights pale in comparison to the single most infamous moment in Tyson's explosive career, June 28, 1997, the rematch against Evander Holyfield. Their first encounter had been postponed for years. Injuries, prison sentences, scandals, fate delayed the inevitable. When they finally fought in 1996, Holyfield had shocked the world. He beat Tyson convincingly, battering him with relentless pressure and walking through the myth Tyson lost his WBA title that night, but he didn't just lose a belt. He lost a piece of himself, so the rematch was inevitable. Hyped to heaven. Sold as the final war, but it didn't play out like a redemption story. It unraveled like a tragedy. Holyfield used his head as much as his fists. Repeated headbutts, subtle but painful, left Tyson bleeding, dazed, and fuming. He pleaded with the referee, who ignored his complaints. That was the mistake. Because when Tyson snapped, the world watched history, or infamy, unfold. Tyson, enraged and pushed beyond his limits, leaned in during a clinch and bit a piece off Holyfield's ear. The ring erupted into chaos. Holyfield screamed in agony. Blood poured, and still, somehow, the fight continued. But it didn't take long. In the very next round, Tyson did it again. Another bite, another shockwave. That was the end. When he was disqualified, his reputation crumbling in real time. As the ref raised Holyfield's hand, Tyson tried to charge again. Security swarmed. The audience gasped. Tyson wasn't fighting anymore, he was unraveling. That night, Tyson was banned from boxing for a year, fined millions. The headlines exploded. But ask anyone, and they'll tell you that moment. That bite, that descent into madness, became one of the most unforgettable nights in all of sports. Still, even after that, Tyson wasn't finished. In 2002, he returned once more to chase the throne, the final boss, Lennox Lewis, a man Tyson had known since their teenage years. They had sparred together as amateurs, shared coaches, and grown from boys into legends. But when they finally met as men, friendship was gone. Replaced by Venom. The build-up was a circus of hostility. Tyson bit Lewis in a pre-fight scuffle, screamed obscenities at the press. And yet behind the madness was something deeper, desperation. By then, Tyson was broken. Not just in body, but in discipline. His training had faded. Alcohol, clubs, and chaos replaced the structure that once made him unstoppable. He needed this fight. He needed the money. But needing a fight is not the same as being ready. And Lennox Lewis was ready. Despite Tyson's aggressive start, he picked Tyson apart. Lewis stayed calm. Patient. He picked Tyson apart, round by round, with surgical precision. By the 8th round, Tyson could no longer stand. He collapsed, defeated, the third and final knockout loss of his career. And with that, the war was over. Mike Tyson remains, to this day, one of the most feared and fascinating figures in sports history. He wasn't perfect. He wasn't even always in control. But when he was, when the anger, the focus, and the raw violence aligned, there was no man alive who could stand against him. Not for long. He was a champion forged in pain, unleashed with purpose, and remembered with awe. For some, he was a cautionary tale. For others, a mythic hero. But love him or fear him, one thing is certain. You never ever disrespected Iron Mike Tyson and expected to walk away the same. Before you go, what do you think of Mike Tyson's legacy? Is he the greatest heavyweight of all time? Or was his career too chaotic to claim that title? Do you think the world ever truly understood him, or feared what they couldn't explain? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like the video. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for more stories that punch you right in the gut, just like Iron Mike.